Pronunciation Pro.
Pronunciation Pro.
Hello and welcome to the Pronunciation Pro podcast. Today is an exciting day. Today is our 100th episode of the Pronunciation Pro podcast. Such a big accomplishment. I had talked kind of last week about just the process of getting here and getting to this point. I'm so grateful and so happy and actually very proud of myself of being able to be more consistent as of this year. And I'm not going to say that I won't miss a week. Let's be honest. I am not going for perfection, but I am going for improvement. And so I have been improving, and it's interesting because as you do something, like I say, I love the saying, version 1 is better than version none. And with each time we try something new or we do something, it gets easier. A quote that my mom would always share with us growing up was, that which we persist in doing becomes easier, not because the nature of the thing had changed, but our ability to do it has increased. Okay, the being able to do a podcast consistently didn't get easier, but my ability to do that consistently has increased. And so that skill has been building. So then, based on our habit stacking that we love, that concept of habit stacking, once you build one habit, then you can build on top of it. So one goal that I have moving forward is that I want to be able to use storytelling better in my podcast and in my teaching, because I think storytelling is a really powerful teaching tool. And I use it, I do use storytelling a lot, but I think that it can be crafted even better. And that is a skill that I have always wanted to develop more. And so now that I have the habit of doing these podcasts and it doesn't feel difficult anymore, then it's like, okay, how can I expand this ability or this skill so that I am incorporating more skills into it? And there's a lot of things that I'd like to practice. I have filler words that I use and transition words that I use in my podcasts. And when I'm listening back to them, or my assistant is editing the podcast, she has to take out some of these filler words. And that is something that I want to improve on. So there's always something that can be worked on, but you can't improve something. It's not as easy to improve something that doesn't already have some kind of foundation. Starting a very, very new habit is very difficult, but if you stack another habit onto an existing habit, it becomes a lot easier. Now, today we're going to talk about something incredibly powerful, and that is reframing our brains. And this is something I am very, very passionate about because it is a strategy to instantly boost your confidence. These powerful reframes are incredibly effective in being able to get you to a more confident mindset right away. Okay. I was just talking to Lori, our lead speech pathologist and lead accent trainer here at Pronunciation Pro, and she was talking to me about some of our students who are higher level and are really trying to, reach perfection in their pronunciation and fluency. And it's interesting because there are two paths or two strategies at this point. When you get to the point where you're not making very many errors, but you're so fixated on being perfect in your American accent, you can keep training. And part of that training, and a really big process of that training, is listening and repeating. So listening to native speakers that you really love their voice and matching it. It's kind of like the, music. the music and musicality of someone's voice. It's listening to one little phrase and matching it, matching the intonation, matching the sounds, matching the undertones. And it requires a large amount of that. And so that is that Olympic level, native speaking level. Any of our students who have really mastered that kind of level, that's what they have to do there at the end, is really listen and repeat to get the undertones. So that's an option. You can keep training, keep working on getting it exactly perfect, which is fine. It does take a lot of time and a lot of effort. The other path is to change your mindset because the feeling that most of our students are working towards is confidence and belonging. So feeling confident and feeling like you belong with native speakers or in the United States or something like that. Those are the feelings that you're needing. So, or you're wanting. So one thing that we recognize is that our feelings come from our thoughts. So when you can shift your thoughts and your belief systems around the way you speak English, or around perfection, around belonging, around some of these pieces, it's actually not necessarily to speak exactly like a native English speaker in order to feel confident or to feel belonging. We can achieve that through mindset shifts. And so that's the coaching that I specialize in. And whenever our students come for private coaching, they work on accent and pronunciation with Lori, and they work on confident mindset with me. And so I was telling Lori, I was like, well, if they're open to it, and not everybody's open to changing their belief system. They really hold on to these thoughts as if they are fact, as if they are truth, right? That I can't belong unless I sound like a native. Like that's one of those belief systems that really gets very, very strong in people's minds. But what I do in the confidence coaching is we challenge those belief systems, because all thoughts are optional. All beliefs are optional. It's just what is serving you. What is serving you and what is something that you choose to believe. And that is then becomes when you think a thought regularly, then you start believing it. You start really believing that, and then that thought, a belief is just a really strong thought. Okay? You see this with people who believe in an afterlife. Like if you lose someone, like someone close to you has passed away, and you believe in an afterlife, like what evidence do we have enough of an afterlife? We have near death experiences and stuff, but there hasn't been anybody who has come back and can affirmatively say this is what the afterlife is like. There maybe someone who has had that near death experiences to come back, their belief is going to be stronger because they've experienced something that the rest of us have not. But we believe I believe in an afterlife because it brings me a lot of peace and joy, and it brings a lot of just comfort to know that the people that I have lost, I get to see them again. Okay, that brings me peace, that brings me joy. It makes grief easier to deal with. And do I know that that's truth? No, I don't, but I've chosen to believe that because it serves me well. And it's something that why not? Right? Why not believe something that brings peace? I also have other reasons to believe that, other things that my brain has kind of gathered evidence of to believe that. But essentially, I get to choose whatever I want to believe, and I get to choose whatever I want to think. And so if something is bringing me pain, and I feel like, and I don't have control over it, guess what? I can control myself. I can control the way that I think about it. And that's very, very empowering. Why wouldn't we choose more peaceful, confident, joyful thoughts if we truly are responsible for creating those? The example I love to share is that like love feels great, and we can choose to feel love for anyone or anything by the thoughts that we think about someone or something. Okay, love is a choice in my mind, and it brings me more joy, and I like the feeling of love. I like that feeling, and I want to have that feeling more in my life. And so when I do feel some maybe negative emotions about someone or judgmental or things like that, that's what I'm trying to work on is, how can I reframe my thoughts so that I feel more love for that person? Because isn't the world better off with more love, right? All right. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the notes and the slides from the Pro Book Club meeting. We have a Pro Book Club meeting about every other month, and we choose a book that we all read on our own, and then we come together and we discuss it. And it's a very, very powerful group and discussion. And there's so much connection. There's so much learning from each other. I feel like it's just a very sacred place where we all come away just glowing, right? We feel this just like confidence and excitement for life every time we leave this. And I think that has a lot to do with the connection that we build through it, but then also the concepts that we're learning and we're discussing and we're sharing our experiences with those. So just a powerful, powerful experience. So obviously just going through the slides is not going to be nearly the experience, but I will try and share some of the ideas and some of the things that came up during this so that you can get a glimpse into kind of what that was like. So what I'm going to do is share this PowerPoint, and we'll just kind of go through and discuss it. So Reframe Your Brain is a book by Scott Adams, and Scott Adams he's an author. He is a comedian. He does comics. He's written several books. He is an interesting character, and actually the book was really entertaining because he is a comedian by profession. So it really was quite fun to be able to share that. So hold on, let me go here. Okay, so let's kind of go through something that I always preface my book club meetings with, and I think it's just fun to talk about a little bit, is what were the goals for that book club? Now, the number one goal for book club is connection, because communication and connection are, one in the same. And when we practice connection in a space like a book club, we get better at it. So I encourage you to find spaces and places and people that you can create maybe a book club or something that you like to do together that creates, or there's a shared interest that you can do together because it creates a lot of that connection. It's also a space to practice communication skills, how to make comments without feeling like you're, overtaking the meeting, or how do you speak up in group settings better, all these things. Okay. It will provide you with the valuable tools for your success. So we're specifically talking about tools that will make you more successful. So today, as I'm going through these reframes or these concepts from the book, I want you to be thinking of looking for reframes that will serve you. Write them down and then practice them. So what do I mean by reframes? Okay, let's talk about that. Reframe is basically like you have a thought, and we're going to use the term like original thought. You have an original thought or an unintentional thought, just something that pops into your mind automatically. And maybe you bring your awareness to that thought and you realize, oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then a reframe is choosing to look at it different. So you think frames on glasses or things, it's like we're going to reframe, we're going to change the lenses here, and we're going to look through this in a different way, and we're going to think about this in a different way. So we want to look for reframes that will serve you. What is going to help you become the best version of yourself? You're going to write them down and practice them. All right. So the first kind of theme of this book is you are the author of your life. So you are the author of your own story. If you don't like the plot, rewrite it. And I think that a lot of us feel like we don't have much control over our life. And I am going to disagree with this. There's a lot of things maybe you don't have direct control over, but it is shocking when you start really adopting this concept of I am the author of my life, and you take full 100% responsibility for your choices and the results of your life. It's amazing what really changes. Okay. So let's talk about some reframes. So original thought would be, this is just the way my life is. A reframe would be, I get to decide how this story ends or how this story progresses. All right. Another original thought, I'm stuck in this situation. So that's very victim. And we talk a lot in the confident mindset about, victim is not where you want to be. Making excuses, victim, that's not where you want to be. So original thought, I'm stuck in this situation. Reframe, this is just a chapter. I'm rewriting, or I'm writing the next one differently. Okay, each chapter can be different because you're going to write it different. You're going to go about something different. And that's what I love about understanding mindset, is that you realize, oh, I do have a lot of control in writing this next chapter differently. Okay, the next one, reframing. You got to see reframing as a superpower. Okay, reality is subjective. We can both be looking at the same screen, but it's almost like we're watching two different movies, because our perception of what's happening is very subjective. So reality, what we see as reality, is subjective. And you can probably, if you have a spouse or a partner, you can probably recognize this quite a bit, is that you're going to see things, the same situation, and you're going to see things very, very different. Okay, so if reality is subjective, you might as well pick the version that helps you the most. Okay, and not to be selfish about it or anything like that. I do believe that, as we go through with a selfless attitude in life and really look to help and serve others and things, that we will be better off. We will be better off, and others around us will be better off. But let's pick the version that helps you the most. So here's some examples. Original thought, this situation is a disaster. Okay, maybe you went into a presentation and it didn't go as well as you hoped, and you're coming away from it going, this situation is a complete disaster. I'm never going to show my face again at work. I can never do a presentation again. Okay, let's talk about a reframe for that. This is a challenge I get to grow from, or that was a learning experience. I'll do better next time. All right, there is ways to reframe that experience that brings the emotional impact of it down. If we see everything as like, this was a complete disaster, I'm never going to do that again, versus, okay, that was a learning experience. Maybe didn't go as well as I hoped, but I am going to learn a lot from that experience and do better next time. Okay, what's going to help you pass through that more effectively? And I know that you're doing this. That's how we survive, is you're doing this already so that you can keep showing up every day. If you weren't doing this, you wouldn't be showing up every day like you are. So you're already doing these reframes. We just want to get better and better at it. Again, it's a skill that you already have, and we're just going to layer more onto it so that you can get more awareness of it and recognize that like anything can be reframed. Okay, original thought, I failed, so I must not be good at this. Versus a reframe, each failure is feedback. I'm learning what doesn't work. Okay, there's that famous story about Thomas Edison that was saying, like, I found 10,000 ways of how not to create a light bulb. And so he's just saying it wasn't failure, it was feedback. I was just learning, what doesn't work until I get to the point where I find what does work. I guarantee he would not have kept going and if he didn't have that reframe in his mind, that wasn't the way that he naturally thought. All right, another theme from the book, identity drives behavior. If you want to change your behavior, start by changing your identity. Okay, so we want to identify as the person or the thing that we want to become. So start by changing your identity. So for example, original thought, I'm not good at public speaking. Okay, if you just identify yourself as somebody who is not good at public speaking versus a reframe, I'm becoming the kind of person who speaks clearly and confidently. So that's a really great reframe. Another one, original thought, I'm just not disciplined. Okay, I'm just not disciplined versus the reframe, I'm someone who takes small steps every day to improve. Okay, again, consistency. It's like I'm more consistent now than I was a year ago with my podcast. Okay, I'm someone who takes small steps every day to improve. And I guarantee you can find evidence of that. And that's the thing, is our brain wants to look for evidence. Okay, it's like, well, I can't believe that because there's no evidence of it. Well, if you really were truly honest with yourself, I bet you could find evidence to support whatever concept of yourself you wanted to change. And so that identity. Okay, I like the thing is I'm not good at public speaking yet. Okay, even putting that yet on the end at least opens up the mind to possibilities for the future. Okay, I haven't learned to, I don't like my voice yet. Okay, even just that small yet, if that's the only thing you can add and feel good about, so be it. That's totally fine. Take whatever is you can believe and start working on that. Okay, theme number 4, systems over goals. We love this concept at Pronunciation Pro. Goals are for losers, systems are for winners. Okay, we love systems because if you just focus on the goal, it's very unclear the path to get to that goal. So we love systems. What system or plan or path can you create so that you're going to get to your end result? So original thought, I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, reframe, I follow a daily routine that supports my health. So you could change that to I walk 10,000 steps every day. Okay, I have a daily routine of walking 10,000 steps. I have a daily routine of feeding myself healthy food. Okay, whatever that routine or system needs to be, you can reinforce that through your reframe. Okay, original thought, I want to write a book this year. Reframe is I'm a person who writes for 30 minutes every day, every morning. So you see there's identity there. I'm a person who, I've taken on that identity. I'm a person who writes for 30 minutes every morning. You're focusing on a system. I write for 30 minutes every morning, and guess what? Over time, I'm going to create a book, right? Or at least it's going to get me to the point where I'm in a habit enough that I'm going to be able to do that. All right. Another theme in this book was control what you can, reframe what you can't. And in the book, he talks a lot about like we can control our health, like what we do with our body, the food we eat, the exercise we can, the thoughts that we think. Yeah, there's certain things that we can control. And there's a lot of things we can't, but let's reframe those. When you can't change the situation, reframe it until it stops hurting you. So again, if you have a neighbor that is difficult or you're just struggling to, you're like, I just can't seem to practice English every single day, or I can't seem to speak up in these meetings like I want to. Okay, we need to reframe it until it stops hurting you. So if you're wanting to change your behavior in a certain way, so let's bring it back to the neighbor situation. If you can't change the situation with your neighbor, they're going to be who they're going to be. How can we reframe that so it stops hurting you? Well, you can say, you know what, their behavior is a lot about them. Or you can say, I feel bad for them that they behave that way. I feel bad for them. They must have had a traumatic childhood, or they must be hurting in some way. We can reframe it until it stops hurting you. If you're afraid of people judging you, it's like, okay, reframe. Maybe they love me. Okay. If they're judging me, they're not for me, right? If they don't see the value that I am, then they're not really for me. Or that's too bad that they don't see the value that I provide. Okay. Original thought, my boss doesn't appreciate me. Reframe, this job is training me to stay strong and prepare for better opportunities. Okay, my boss doesn't appreciate me, to this job is training me to stay strong. Okay, even in the midst of a boss who doesn't appreciate you, it's teaching me to stay strong and prepare for better opportunities. How about an original thought of, that traffic ruined my day? And a reframe is, that traffic gave me extra time to listen to a great podcast like Pronunciation Pro. Excellent. All right, let's talk about our sixth theme. Confidence is a skill you can build. Well, look at that. We always come back to confidence. Okay, confidence is a skill you can build. Confidence isn't something that you have, it's something that you do. All right, let's reframe confidence is not something that you either have or you don't. It's something that you do. When it's reframed that way, you recognize, oh, I have control over this. All right, original thought, I'll speak up when I feel more confident. Okay, kind of waiting for that confidence to just automatically come up. A reframe would be, I build confidence by speaking up, even when it feels uncomfortable. I am going to say that again. I build confidence by speaking up, even when it feels uncomfortable. I want everyone to adopt that reframe, because you do build confidence by speaking up. The more you do it, the easier it gets, right? And the better your English gets. Every time you speak up, you're getting better. Every time you practice, you're getting better. All right, another original thought. Other people are naturally confident. I'm not. Let's reframe that, because I don't love that at all. It's not something you're born with, it's something that you do. Okay, reframe, confidence is a habit, and I'm practicing it every day. Confidence is a habit, something that I can choose to do, and I'm practicing it every day. Don't you love that? I love it. Okay, number 7. I should have told you how many we have. And actually, I don't really remember because I have the slides up here, but we will keep going. Affirmations and self-talk matter. What you repeat becomes your reality. Okay, what you repeat becomes your reality. So that affirmation, the self-talk, the way that you're communicating to yourself, I cannot tell you how important it is to communicate with yourself with kindness, because it matters. What you repeat to yourself becomes your reality. You get to choose what that reality is by the thoughts that you think, the things that you think. Okay, original thought, I'm so bad at English. Okay, if you're saying that over and over and over again, you have got to reframe this. Or my accent sounds so bad, or whatever version you may have stuck on repeat in your mind, we have to reprogram that. We have to practice new thoughts, literally saying them out loud, literally writing them down, literally like saying them out loud every single day as you're getting ready for the day. So the reframe, I'm improving my English every day and making great progress. I'm better today than I was 5 years ago. All right. There are definitely reframes to make that a better self-talk, a more positive, encouraging self-talk. Okay, another original thought. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. I do not love that one. Okay, reframe. My voice matters and I bring value to every conversation. I want you to say that out loud. My voice matters and I bring value to every conversation. All right. How would your life be different if you said that to yourself and believed that wholeheartedly? If you practice that thought and you practice that belief, my voice matters and I bring value to every conversation. You just adding, and we had such a beautiful experience in the Pronunciation Pro book club because as people added their thoughts, it became the most colorful, wonderful discussion. But just take even one voice out of that and it wouldn't have been as dynamic. Okay, think of it as a painting. You can either just have black and white in your painting, or you can add all these different colors and just think, I am a color that needs to be added to this painting. It will make it more vibrant. Okay, you matter. Your voice matters. So let's get in on those conversations because I know that it will change the way you see yourself and the way that you speak English, but it'll also change the dynamic of the conversation and it will help enrich all that are involved. All right, number 8, success is a skill, not luck. Success isn't magic. It's a set of skills and mindsets anyone can develop. So coming back to that 100% responsible. Success isn't magic. It's a set of skills and mindsets anyone can develop. So original thought, people like me don't succeed at that level. Okay? People like me don't succeed at that level. Okay, let's reframe that. People like me succeed all the time because we learn, adapt, and keep going. If I know anything about you, that's it. You learn, you adapt, and you keep going. There's a lot of evidence in your life to support this. I guarantee it. It would not take me long in a conversation with you to pull out the ways that you have learned, you have adapted, and you kept going when things got really hard. Okay? People like you succeed all the time. All right, another original thought. If I were lucky, I'd be further ahead. Okay, let's reframe that. Success comes from consistent effort, not luck. I'm on my way. Okay? You can do this. It is not based on luck. It's based on consistent effort. And you can do that. All right, those were the 8 ideas and I'll summarize them here in a minute, but I do want to add some more powerful reframes that I put together. So how about this one? I'm not good at this to I'm in the process of getting good at this. I feel nervous. How about I feel excited? This is hard. Hard is where the growth happens. I hate making mistakes. Mistakes are proof I'm growing. I'm so far behind. I'm exactly where I need to be to take the next step. Okay, I love this reframe because it does make a big difference. When you feel like you're behind on anything, that's never a good energy. But if you say, I'm exactly where I need to be, nothing has gone wrong here. I'm exactly where I need to be. This is the plan for my life. Okay, I'm exactly where I need to be and I get to change any part of this story. I'm the author of my story. Okay, how about, I'll try, just saying I'll try versus I'll train. And I loved in our study group, in our book club, someone says, I choose to be this way. I choose to believe this. I choose to train my voice. Okay, how about this is overwhelming to I'll just do one small thing right now. Okay, that is a powerful one. I'm moving in my house right now. And yesterday I was feeling very overwhelmed with all that needed to do because I was just thinking of all the things. And then I finally had to just, again, mindset, managing my mind and be like, okay, what needs to be done right now? What small thing can I just get started with right now? And what things can I kind of throw out of my brain because they're not relevant yet? I'm just going to do these next steps. How about I'm not confident? Okay, if you have a belief that I'm not a confident person, how about I'm building my confidence every time I speak? Or I'm very confident in some other areas of my life and others in other areas, like maybe my English or my accent, I'm not as confident yet, but I am practicing and I'm learning. How about I'm embarrassed about my accent? And reframe that to my accent shows courage, effort, and a global identity. I love this one. My accent shows courage, effort, and a global identity, which is so valuable, right? People might judge me. Okay, if you get out there and you're thinking, well, people might judge me. How about people respect those who are improving themselves? Okay, if you're willing to try, you're willing to make mistakes, you're willing to get out there, that is respectable. That earns people's respect, not perfection. Perfection doesn't earn nearly as much respect as someone who's willing to get out there and do their best, but fall short and show that it's okay for all the rest of us to not be perfect too. Okay, you are an example and I love it. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm going to go through. You are the author of your life. How about reframing is a superpower? Identity drives behavior. Systems over goals. Control what you can, reframe what you can't. Confidence is a skill you can build. Affirmations and self-talk matter. And success is a skill, not just luck. Okay. How about that? That's pretty fun. Okay. Again, such a powerful book club meeting. So grateful and so glad for those who attended and added their voice. We missed your voice, and I hope you'll join us in the next Pro Book Club. Join Pronunciation Pro, and we'll make sure that you get all the notifications about when the next book club is and which book it is. And we would love to see you there. Also, join Pronunciation Pro and come and work on your mindset through our confidence coaching every month, our Confident Pro Mindset course that you can go through on your own time. So many opportunities to work on that, reframing your brain within the course. So we would love to have you come join us. All right. Thank you. Have a great one. And thanks for being here for our 100th podcast episode. All right. Have a great day. Bye.
Pronunciation Pro.
Pronunciation Pro.